Good evening, everybody, and welcome. I'm delighted to be here on our Sunday night The Joy of the Spirit session. My name is Christine, and I'm from the Boston, Massachusetts area in the United States, and I'm delighted to be asked to join your session this evening. We have a especially nice topic this evening. And the topic, as you've seen in some of the WhatsApp group and so forth, is the divinity within. Recognizing the divinity within. So really everything, of course, that we have been working on through these 21-day sessions, starting back in January, has been to this point, has been for this purpose. But I do think we still maybe forget to appreciate that a little bit. So I'd like to go into that subject just for a minute or two before we start our foot soak. What do we mean by the divinity within? Well, when we talk about the Kundalini, which awakens within us, comes all the way up to our Sahasrara to give us self-realization, that's an aspect of the divinity within. When we say the mantras to different aspects of our different chakras, we are addressing that aspect of the divinity, of the divine that exists within us to a greater or lesser extent, definitely in potential and manifesting to a greater or lesser extent. And that's part of why we're here, is to make that manifest even more fully. When I think about the divinity within, I focus especially on the heart, on the left-hand side, on the spirit, because the heart, as we've explained before, is the residence, the residing place of the spirit. So what do we mean when we talk about the spirit? Well, we're talking about the universal and the eternal aspect of ourselves. So the eternal aspect of ourselves has been with us, from the beginning, if you like, you could say from the beginning of creation, through many lives. It's universal because it is a reflection of the supreme or universal spirit. I think the indigenous peoples of America referred to the Great Spirit. So they recognized, many different forms of manifestations of divinity in the natural world around them, and recognized the beauty of nature and of their fellow creatures on this earth as being members of this family. But ultimately, they would go back to this idea of the Great Spirit. So I'm going to refer to that as the Supreme Spirit, of which we're a part. So that's the universal side. And if we're a part of the Supreme Spirit, then anyone else who is, has a spirit, has these in their heart, which all human beings do have, at least in potential form, then that makes us a part of this family of man. But the difference is, if your Kundalini has been awakened, you can sort of think of the spirit as a pilot light, and the Kundalini is the fuel. And when the Kundalini reaches this point, then it brings the spirit into our conscious attention. So prior to realization, we may suspect, we may know, we may believe that we have the spirit, we are the spirit, that we have a soul, that we have something that's deeper than just ourselves. But after self-realization, and I'm going to talk about that expression in a minute, after self-realization, this light of the spirit starts to emit and starts to shine into our attention, into our awareness. We begin to feel it physically on our hands. Most, if not all of us, have had this experience of the coolness on our hands, this, what the Greeks referred to as the pneuma, which is the wind. It's the wind, is referred to in many different texts and many different traditions, the breath of the divine. We begin to actually feel that on our central nervous system. And we, of course, experience these deep meditations where we are in peace, where we are in reality, and the things that are superficial, that belong to us in a sense, our personality, or whatever our particular form may be, but are superficial when compared to the spirit that is within. So all different traditions have referred to the fact that this divinity is within you. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna told Arjuna that I exist within the heart of all beings. Directly, he talked about the heart. In the Bible and scriptures, the Christian scriptures, Jesus talked about saying that the kingdom of God is within you. The kingdom of God is within you. Even the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu said, without going out of my door, I can know the whole world. It's because he understood that this spirit that is within, the universal side of that. There's a beautiful quote from a Shakespeare play that I happened to be fortunate to come across, where Shakespeare, one of the characters, says, go to your bosom and knock there and ask your heart what it doth know. And that's what we need to just remember to do. Now that we have this awakening, this self-realization, so the spirit and the self with a capital S, that's what we mean when we talk about self. We're talking about the spirit. Self-realization means we become aware of the spirit tangibly, and in our awareness it becomes much more real to us. But we need to remember to go to that. And it's such a comfort to know that we have that we can refer everything to our spirit. Go to your bosom, knock there, and ask your spirit, ask your heart what it doth know. Anything we want to know, anything that we need help with, anything that needs to be resolved, we can go to our spirit. We can go to that reality within. So, without any more discussion, let's go ahead and start our foot soak. I think today, I know that in the last few sessions, you've been using your attention to raise your Kundalini. I'm going to go ahead and use my hands to raise my Kundalini, and I would invite everyone to do that. But if you prefer to use your attention the way you've been taught in the last few sessions, that's also fine. So use our hands to create a spiral movement, okay, that approximates the movement of the Kundalini, which moves in a spiral way. And we raise our hands above our heads. And we can stretch our heads back and tie that knot above our heads. The second time, we can stretch our heads back and open our Vishuddhi, open our fifth center, tie the symbolic knot, and then the third time again. And you can tie 3 knots above your head. And then the bandhan, the protection. I like to think of this as creating a sacred space within which we can meditate without interference. And now let's put our right hand towards the water, towards the foot soap bowl, and we're taking the mantra to Samudra Devata, which is the essence of the quality of the ocean. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Samudra Devata Sakshat Shri Adishakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namah. O divine power, please may this foot soak, please may this water and salt element become activated with vibrations and be effective for the purpose of cleansing my subtle system. And we can put our feet into the water. And we're going to bring our attention inside into the center of our being. And once we come onto the central channel, the Sushumna, let our attention rise to the top of our brain. So that everything that we do and the mantras that we speak are coming from that state of meditation. And now let's drop our right hand towards the Mother Earth. This element of the earth. Mother Earth, please remove and absorb out any impurities or negativities that may be affecting me on my left side channel of my emotions. Mother Earth, I surrender any heaviness or weight that I may be carrying around from my past. Please help me to release this baggage into this infinitely compassionate element of the Mother Earth. And now let's bring our right hand back onto our lap and take our left hand and point it with our fingers towards the sky and our palm facing backwards. And ask this element of the air, this ocean of air, to please absorb and remove any impurities or negativities of my right side channel. Please cool down and soothe any stress or heat or effortfulness that may be built up on this right side channel from my activities of this day. I surrender all frustration, any anger, that may have built up through my interactions with others or through my own behavior. And then we can put our left hand back down again onto our lap. And we're going to take our right hand and put it onto our heart. And we're going to say a new mantra. So in Sanskrit, the spirit is referred to as the Atma. And the universal spirit or the supreme spirit is the Paramatma. So the mantra is to Shri Atma Paramatma. So we are focusing on the connection between our own spirit, the reality of our spirit as being a part of the universal divinity. And we're identifying ourselves with that. So again, the mantra is Shri Atma Paramatma. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Atma Paramatma Sakshat Shri Adishakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. Mother, I am the spirit. Mother, I recognize the divinity within me. I identify with the divinity that resides within me. By recognizing myself, the spirit within, this enables me to recognize the spirit in others, and it enables me to recognize the Supreme Spirit. And strangely enough, by recognizing the divinity within, it allows me spontaneously to become humble. Shri Mataji has said that you become humble when you realize how great you truly are. Let's relax our hand back down and just stay in this silence. Actually, bring our attention again back up to the top of our head, right in the center of the seventh chakra, the Sahasrara. This spirit, this Atma, has its seat, its throne, you could say. It has its reflection because all of the chakras are reflected in the Sahasrara, but right at this point, at the fontanelle bone area, is the throne of the spirit. And we can just take a moment to recognize the significance of that. And let's lift our hand just a few inches above our head and enjoy the flow of the vibrations above our head. So let's finish the foot soak now by rinsing off our feet. And then we're going to have a short lecture, an excerpt of a lecture by Shri Mataji, where she goes into this topic even much more clearly than I could ever do, and gives us an opportunity to absorb that. Again, from this point of meditation, that's the position to be in when you listen to the talks of Shri Mataji. That gives you access to understanding the point that she's really trying to make. So let's just go ahead and rinse off our feet and prepare ourselves for the next phase of our program tonight. And we're going to put the foot soak water aside and sort of push it off to the side. As one of my Sahaja Yogi sisters once said, that's a done deal, referring to the foot soak. Once we foot soaked, that's it. We don't want really to have much more to do with that. And when we have time later, we will dispose of it into the toilet, as we've learned how to do. So let's enjoy the lecture of Shri Mataji now.
If you become the master, naturally nothing can dominate you. You become the free bird. You become absolutely on top of everything, and you can see everything as just a drama and a witness. All this is within you. All these powers are within you because the spirit is within. The Kundalini is within. You have to just, first of all, get your realization, enlightenment, and maintain it for a while. And you don't need much effort, because after realization you are really empowered. You get over your frivolities, you get over your stupidities, and you get over all these nagging habits that put you down, your self-respect and everything. Now, it is easy for people to go to any guru whatsoever, because you don't have to do anything. You just have to go, pay some money, and you become the disciple. The guru doesn't do anything. He doesn't even travel. He doesn't do anything. He sits nicely, you go and give him money, and he enjoys your money, and he's a parasite. But here, you are the guru. You have to become the guru. Here, you have to become the self, you have to be the guru, which is the principle already in you, it is to be enlightened. You cannot depend on anyone. You have to depend on yourself. And you are already entitled and empowered to be that. Sahaja. Sahaja means bond with you. Saha is with, bond with you. This power to be united with the divine is with you. It is within you. And the time has come. This is the blossom time. And this time you have to get it. If you lag behind, you have to face the problems. You have to face the problems later on. So those who call themselves as seekers, those who say that we are seeking God, we are seeking the truth, must know that to seek the truth is to see the truth within themselves and not without. If somebody says that you are going to fly in the air, you have to see the stars and the moons, that's not the way. It is within yourself, you have to see what you are, and when you start feeling your spirit, you start feeling others also. Because your spirit is the collective being. You have to become that. Again I say you have to become that spirit. So far your spirit is just watching you. It doesn't come into the play. It doesn't come into the play. It is still there in a state we can call as a witness. He is witnessing all that you are doing. But once the Kundalini rises from its base, there as you see in the triangular bone, it comes up, breaks through, and you start feeling the existence of spirit on your nervous system. You can feel it in your hands. It is so simple that even children can feel it. Say, for example, in this room, you have to put a light. Just you have to press one button and you get the light. But it's not so simple. To look at it looks simple. It looks absolutely naive. If you tell a villager, the one who has never seen how electricity works, he won't believe it. He won't believe that this is possible. It is so naive for his mind also that how can it be? Just you press the button and you get the light. But you do get the light. And how? Because there is a mechanism behind it. There is an organization behind it. There is a history behind it. There is an evolution behind it. Now we are standing at the last part of our evolution. The human awareness that it is today is still not complete. If it was, we would not have been so much confused. We are confused because our awareness has not reached that stage where we become the spirit. Christ has said you are to be born again. Now there are people, I have heard the other day, one gentleman came and started talking, just like a tape recorder, that Christ was just a Kundalini yogi and all that thing. Who are they to judge Christ? What do they know about him? What is their power to judge him? You see, any Dick, Tom and Harry stands up and starts talking about anyone. First of all, let's know what is your power. Let's see what do you know about it. Have you found yourself? Please be honest about it. Please be honest. That's all is needed. Because the whole nature, the whole creation, all the pervading power of God's love is trying to do this for you. Everyone is trying to. I sometimes feel people are pampered. Because the way I see these days miracles happening to thousands of people getting realization, I am myself amazed. How the divine itself has taken up upon itself to give this realization to you, to give this experience to you, to do this for you. It is something so remarkable. The whole compassion is working out this great work, this great drama of giving realizations to you. Of course, if you are not a seeker, it will take time. I mean, you can't teach people to see. You have to be hungry. If you are not seeking, it's not easy. I know it is very difficult. And if you are not seeking, you will take, I think, some time to do it. Some people who are not seeking, also when they see so many coming to Sahaja Yoga, getting cured, having a better life, enjoying themselves, becoming such good people, also follow them. But those who are seekers do not wait for any such things. They just jump into it, get it, and become that. Are we going to waste our human life? Are we not going to be what we are meant for? For example, see, this instrument is made with such difficulties and with such care. But if you do not put this to the mains, what's the use? What's the use of this instrument? It's a waste. It's just a waste. And that's what one should know, that you should put it to the mains. And putting to the mains itself means getting realization. Yoga means union with the divine power that is all pervading. This divine power is there. We can see its effects. All the living work is done by that power. A flower becomes a fruit through that power. We exist because of that power. If you see these eyes, how beautifully God has made, how beautifully He has made us, all that is done by this God's loving power, which is all pervading and is very subtle. You cannot feel it, because with this awareness, we are not yet that subtle. Only after realization you can feel that power, and you start feeling it as the cool breeze of the Holy Ghost. That should happen to all of you. Even if it happens, we must keep the connection all right.
So let's just meditate silently for just 1 minute. It's all it takes to really go into silence and be able to absorb the essence of what we've been hearing. So, it's so nice to be reminded of what we truly are. And to be reminded that we can take full advantage of that. So what we're going to do now this evening is I'm going to just make a few quick announcements, and then we're going to move into breakout rooms. And the purpose of the breakout rooms, for anyone who's not sure, is so that we can have a smaller group of meeting attendees who work with an experienced Sahaja Yogi practitioner, Sahaja Yoga practitioner, and ask questions, continue to meditate, possibly work on specific problems or chakras or anything that you feel the need for. This Thursday, we're going to have a beautiful program that will be focusing on the poetry, the divine poetry of Guru Nanak and Kabir, by someone who's a real expert at that. So our usual sessions, Joy of the Spirit sessions, as you know, are Sundays and Thursdays, right up through November 17th. And then on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at the same time, on the same Zoom link, we have our foot soak sessions, collective foot soak sessions. Anyone who would like to be put into a breakout room with a Spanish speaking mentor or facilitator, please put that information on the chat, and we will do our best to assign you to an appropriate breakout room. So we'll be ending the program in the main room right now. And I really encourage you to stay and join someone in a breakout room. It's a whole other dimension of how we can work and help each other, and have a give and take, and, you know, really sort of zero in on your own specific needs and things that you would like to know, or things that you would like to work on that are, you know, that we can help in any way we possibly can. So I do encourage you to stay if you possibly can. And if you happen to be watching on YouTube, you can join the Zoom meeting. Just, you know, jump into the Zoom link, and let's see what the chat is telling us. And I think that's all of the announcements for now. So what we're going to do is that while the tech people are putting us into breakout rooms, we're just going to have some music. Sometimes takes a few moments for the breakout rooms to be set up. And in the meanwhile, we'll just have some nice music, and you can meditate while we're waiting. So thank you again very, very much for joining this evening, and hope to see some of you in a breakout room.